Howlers Spotlight number, what is this?
9, right?
9?
I think so, yeah.
Well, we're delighted and we're treated very well today with Charleston Battery forward Augi Williams. Welcome, Augie.
Welcome.
Hello. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
It's good to have you. Obviously, a great start to the season for the Charleston Battery. Kind of talk to us about that. Talk to us how you're feeling, everything like that.
Yeah, obviously it's a great feeling to obviously be on the right path as we have started so far. So the boys are buzzing. We're all happy and we're getting good results. So there's no better feeling than that.
Yeah. Also, congratulations, Player of the Week. You've earned your honors. He's out here scoring goals.
Thank you.
You said the vibes are good, energy is good around the team. What about Patriots Point? What does it mean to you playing at home? How is the energy there?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the place has become like a fortress now, you know. That's the tone we wanted to set from the get-go to let every team that comes into our home knows that anything that will be taken away from us needs to be earned. So obviously that has been done so far. Mm-hmm. So obviously it's a great feeling to be able to get all the points we've been able to get at home so far. So it's good.
Yeah, you've been able to put on quite a show. We were actually down there for the opening match. We got to meet some of the regiment faithful. Yeah. We saw some of the upgrades to the season, but man, what a crew. And I can only imagine what it's like to have them at your back. You got the smoke popping off. And you scored quite a goal away from home. Your late winner against your rivals, the Tampa Bay Rowdies. What were your emotions in that specific moment afterwards? Like, talk to us a little bit about that.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, a team like Tampa, whenever like Tampa, Louisville, just teams that have dominated the Eastern Conference for a while, whenever I hear that we have a game against them, you know, it's a different feeling. It's like you're going against one of the best, so you want to be able to put your best performance. So obviously my job was just making sure I'm at the right place at the right time. You know, obviously just watching the film, there was a guy who went down from their end, and you can see that the referee just kept like saying, you guys should keep going because we have advantage. So once I realized that the ball was cleared by Leland and then Arturo was just driving forward, I was just trying to make sure I'm trying to lose the defender as quick as I can. And unfortunately, when he played me the ball, I was still in my own half. So the rules says that I'm not offside if I'm in my own half. So.
Right. Yeah, you timed it just perfectly. What a ball, too. Did you know the minute it left your foot? I was watching it live. The minute it left your foot, did you know it was like, or did you have to wait a little bit as it kind of crept across the goal?
You know, obviously, I pick up my head and I saw the goalkeeper coming out, and just me speaking to our goalkeeper coach Brian last year, the few tips he gives me, which is very difficult for a goalkeeper to come out while he's running to also be able to stand and make a save. So once I picked my head up and I knew that he was not going to risk trying to save that because he's already out of the 18-yard, my job was to just get it around him. And unfortunately, I was able to do that. And as soon as it went around there, I knew it was going in the back of the net at that point.
Yeah, man, what a goal. I'm still shocked by it. You had the back-to-back winners, also by your teammate on the set piece. That was incredible, too. Absolute scenes.
Augie, you mentioned post-match in Tampa that Ben Pierman is the type of manager you'd run through a wall for. What about him has been so impactful? What have you seen from him that really sets him apart from maybe other managers you've worked with or coaches? Kind of talk to that a bit.
I think for me, obviously, what I would say about him from my own personal experience, I think he has made this squad into a family. You know, he's the kind of guy who, even off of the pitch, like he gives you the platform to be able to talk about whatever you want to have a conversation with him. He gives you that platform. So even before the season starts, like he would call me, we would talk about certain things. You know what I mean? How am I feeling about like this signing or whatever the case might be. So I felt like it was basically bringing in that kind of energy, you know, every player wants. And then in the locker room on the pitch, he motivates us to want to be able to perform to the best of our ability. And he gives us the the opportunity to be able to express ourselves as well. So when you look at and you put all those together, some people who are backing you up, you always want to be able to give them your absolutely best. And I think when I said that statement that day, when you want to be able to run through a wall, he's there for us in the good and the bad. And then people only see the beautiful effect on the pitch, but obviously he supports us like when you're having a rough day at training and things like that. So when you put all that together and then you see that comes into reality, you want to be able to keep fighting for someone like that who has your back 24/7.
Yeah, that's well said. And I think that goes unnoticed when you, like you mentioned, you only see the productivity on the pitch, but the behind the scenes stuff really goes a long way. So that's amazing. And we had the pleasure to sit down with Ben, and it was a fantastic interview. He was, great guy from what we gathered.
We got a lot of good guys around the park.
Very fun to talk to too.
Yeah, he is high energy for sure. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I guess I envision you more as a senior type player. Obviously, you come with loads of experience from a professional aspect. Having been so successful so far as a striker in this league, what type of advice do you give to the likes of the young forwards that have come in and that are there, like Fidel, who's been there for almost the second season now, Mark Hanich, Traeger that have just come in? What's kind of maybe some things you said to them at the start of the season to kind of help their game going forward?
I think, for me, for the first thing is like it's all about like wanting to learn every day. That's the point I think I've realized about myself. No matter what I've accomplished, I've always been open to wanting to learn more. You know what I mean? And this is why I'm at the stage I am today, because I've always wanted to learn from different coaches, whether it's my players as well. So guys like Fidel, he's a very talented guy. You know what I mean? So you want to be able to advise like guys like that to be able to just be comfortable, enjoy the game while you're playing it, because it's the most important part about it, Mm-hmm. And we've embraced him since day one, that he's been part of our squad, and he has helped us a lot, even if it's not assist, but just being at the right place at the right time, helping us in terms of like making runs that open space for me and Nick as well. So I think guys like that, you want to be able to give them the best advice in terms of like, these things will come over time, that individual success. But at the end of the day, he's helped us a lot in terms of like collective success. I think when you look at guys like that, you want to be able to help them, because I was once at a young age, at that age, when I also went professional, and I had people who supported me to be where I'm at. So in any way, like I can or the group can, we try to do that for him.
Yeah, it goes such a long way. You talk about Coach Pearman from the top down, kind of the listening aspect to communicating. Like you can give all the advice as you want, but I think what you touch on, when young players have someone to go to who they know is proven and kind of have been through it, for them to be able to go to you and kind of speak their mind, that must really bring you guys together.
Right.
There's no doubt about it. You're one of the standout returning players. How did you carry the form from last season into this season without the bat of you just goals right into goals after goals. And when the season started, you managed to get things going pretty quickly out of the gate.
Yeah. For me, I don't try to look at myself as a guy who put a lot of pressure on myself in terms of, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I want to be able to help the team the best way I can, in any way I can, to support the team to be successful. That's my first priority. And I think it's just me open to learning, wanting to be better every day. I think that's where that strive comes from. And I think for me, the first goal is the hardest part. But as soon as that first goal comes, the rest just come easily.
It just falls to your lap.
Yeah, the first one is where I have so much pressure on my shoulder, But once that comes in, I'm able to be relaxed now. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And just don't have to overthink it anymore.
Well, for the rest of us, it's good to know that you are human and you do feel a little bit of that pressure at first, but then afterwards it rolls off your shoulders. Did you feel an added pressure as you saw the talent that was being added in the off season? Do you feel that added to the pressure heading into the season, or did you kind of take it optimistically that it was just going to raise the competition levels throughout the camp?
No, not really. Obviously, just speaking with Lee, the whole plan was to get, guys to help me more in terms of success, and if you can see the last season, the reality was I was the one scoring most of the goals. You know what I mean? Yeah. So when you bring in guys like Nick, you bring in guys like, Fidel, like you bring in guys like Arturo and those kind of like players, it kind of take the pressure off of me. You know what I mean? So there are times when people are focusing on me and Nick is over there banging in goals. And then they go and focus on Nick. Yeah. And I said, then I'm like, it's my turn.
Right.
So I think that balance, it's a healthy competition in training. But I look at it as like, when you put all together, it's all about the team and the success at the end of the day, help the team to be able to flourish the way we've been doing so far.
I love that. Transitioning here a bit, I'm curious to know more about yourself, Augie, and your roots to Sierra Leone. Kind of speak to, I guess, your arrival to the States. I know you grew up in California, but I'd love to know more about the culture that you brought with you to the U.S. and how it's helped you kind of stay grounded and maybe with your game as well.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, for a kid who I left Sierra Leone at the age of 6, lived in Senegal for 2 years. That's where the American embassy was before we moved to the States. The whole point was my mother wanted us to bring me, my brother, and my father here to kind of have a better education, a better lifestyle than the one we have in Sierra Leone. So, when I was given this platform to be actually able to express myself in this beautiful game, I wanted to take an opportunity to make something out of it, and my mom has always told me since day one, you know what I mean? Just stay grounded, believe in God, you know what I mean? And just making sure that you're being a good person, and then the right things will just come to you. And I think that has been my foundation in terms of my success. You know what I mean? Like I'm always that guy who wants to be able to see people happy, people success, having, you know what I mean? So I think when you kind of apply that, I think good things come to you. And I think that's why I've been able to, you know what I mean, have success, and obviously the work that I put in as well for me to be able to do what I do.
That's beautifully said. And I'm curious, like how much of the game was a big support, I guess, the game of soccer for that transition. Was that something that you initially jumped into when you first came to the U.S., like at the grassroots level? You wanted to come here and kick around just with kids your age?
Yeah, I mean, obviously my father used to take me when I was younger, even though I don't remember much, but he used to take me, like they used to have like this weekend, like they call it in the U.S. Sunday League type of stuff.
Yeah.
So I would go and watch him. I wanted to participate, but I was too young, and then he was also afraid of me getting hurt and things like that. So there was days where I would just leave the house, and don't come back to like late. My mom used to beat me up, but I was like, as long as I'm going to have fun, that's all that matters. But I think when I came to the U.S., it was more so of like educational purposes, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And I was doing like soccer for fun, but then, a lot of people started telling me that it was not possible, or he's just fast, he's not good enough, or with the city I grew up in, it's a city called Hayward in Northern California in the Bay Area.
Okay.
So I think all those things, when you look at it and then you want to be able to ask yourself, why are these things impossible as they're saying it to be, And I think that's where the motivation came from. Like, why a guy who comes from Sierra Leone is not able to accomplish these things? They say it's a 1% that makes it in this industry. So why can I not be part of that 1%? So I think that's where the drive came from, and me just knowing that, it doesn't matter where you come from, it doesn't matter your race, your ethnicity, as long as you're focused on something and you want to be able to attain it and you put the work behind it, I think it's possible. I think that's where the drive came from.
Wow, that's a powerful message. I mean, yeah, it is. The game delivers a lot, and it's a unique trait of yours to when the individuals are saying like, "Oh no, you can't do that," rather than just take their word for it. You step up to bat and you're like, "Well, why not?" And then you've obviously gone and shown us. I'm not sure. This might have happened at the youth level, or it might have happened further along in your career. But when did you realize that you just had this pure ability to find the back end of the net and score goals?
I think when I actually learned my position in terms of like, that took a while, because back in high school, I was a winger, but I was also a forward. But I realized that when it came playing as a winger, it was too much running for me, especially when you had a fast guy who's playing as a right back or a left back, you know what I mean? So I think it started coming up when I moved to LA, positioning wise, learning, being at the right place at the right time and knowing my strength and realizing that my strength is in that box. And then I just had that belief that if I know where the defender, or the person who I'm playing against, I'm observing my environment, I'm able to move quickly in that way. And obviously speaking to guys like Kai Kamara as well helps me a lot. And looking at guys like that I've played while they were at LA, like Zardes, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like Ola Kamara, those type of people, you learn from them. You want to be able to see why they're so successful in what they've done. So me personally, I was always open to learning. And then as soon as I started becoming more and more efficient in my movement, and I think everything perfectly came all at once. And that's when I realized that I can actually score goals.
The striker's wit. You've learned the art of it. Speaking to your roots again, you've had the privilege of representing your nation. You were able to travel with the team to the AFCON tournament. What was the experience like, and what does it mean to you to represent your home nation? Yeah,
obviously it's a great feeling. Sierra Leone is a very small country. A lot of people don't even know about Sierra Leone. If you're not good at geography, let's just put it that way. But it's a country with about 8 million people. So, to be able to represent Sierra Leone in AFCON, the experience alone was absolutely amazing. You watch guys like, Zaha, like on TV, like guys like, what's his name? The Manchester City left back for Algeria. I forgot his name. I think Riot something. Mahrez.
Mahrez.
Yeah, guys like Pepe that used to play for Arsenal. When you get to actually be in the same environment and actually play against those guys, it's a great feeling. It's something that I don't take for granted. So I think it's always an honor whenever I'm called to represent Sierra Leone in the big stage, and I want to be able to do it to the best of my ability. So it's a great feeling, and the whole AFCON itself was something that I've loved since I was there, and it's a great experience for myself. And obviously, I'm wishing that we can go back there. So it's a beautiful experience.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, African nations also showed up in a big way in this past World Cup. Yeah. I mean, not only with players to bring to the table, but whole teams obviously making deep runs.
Exactly.
Obviously, Augie, you have a very significant record in the USL. You've reached 50 goals at the second youngest player in league history at age 25. You tallied 16 goals last season, a career high. Are you someone that sets targets for yourself? I know you don't put pressure on yourself, but in the back of your head, is there sometimes where you go into certain games or into the season where you're like, all right, I want to get this goal, this many goals, in this amount of games or stuff like that? Or is it mostly focus on the game, focus helping your team, kind of talk to kind of your mentality when it comes to setting up a season and looking at the success you've already had when it comes to awards and accolades and stuff like that?
No, not really. Honestly, I focus more on the collective aspect in terms of I feel like if the team is having success, that's because individual players are contributing to that collective success. So me, I started doing it when I was when I was younger, setting up goals, how many goals I wanted to score. But then obviously when I reflect on it, I'm limiting myself in terms of if I said I want to score 16 goals, what if I could score 20 goals? Mm-hmm. So I look at it from that. I don't come in and say, oh, I want to score. My job is to score, the reality that I've learned about my position at the end of the day, you're solely judged on how many goals you score, You could do all these fancy
Definitely.
hold-up plays, but at the end of the day, your value goes up or decreases of how many goals you score, which is the reality, But so I don't put that pressure on myself that I need to come in and score goals, you know what I mean? As long as I know that the coach want me to do a certain thing and I know if I can do it day in and out, I can have success. So when the coach wants me to make runs behind the line, make that like near post run, when I started doing those things, the success comes. If you see the game against Tampa, me making that run behind the line creates space for myself to be able to have the opportunity to score. And my job is to just make the most out of every opportunity that I get.
That's well said. And hearing you now, having spoken into the last 20 minutes, you don't seem like somebody who would fit the bill of that stereotypical striker, all eyes on me. I want all of that. But the one thing that we can say is, looking on Instagram, we've seen the fits. We've seen the Augie fits post pre-match. Is that something a part of the game that you love to do? Obviously, get decked out. I know from my perspective, when I see players showing up to match day, they got all the fresh looks on. Is that something to you that you find just a fun part of being a professional athlete?
Yeah. I think someone once said it, like, look good, play good. So I think all us come together. You know what I mean? And we got to look good too for the camera. So players come when you start first coming, you see like players are dressing nice or whatnot. So you want to be. It's like a tradition type of a culture type of thing. So I just think it's game day. You just want to look. Everything you do has to be in the best way possible to be ready for the game.
Yeah, certainly certified in the swagger department. Most of the Charleston Battery walking in with their handbags and stuff. And Ben Pierman, him and Lee both had the custom footwear on.
And Ben has the Jordan collection too.
Does he?
Yeah.
Oh, he's a sneakerhead.
I saw the highlights when he was wearing on the sideline. He was wearing other different Nike shoes. We
didn't pull that out of him in his interview.
Yeah.
We also, when we tuned in and he had that like tan rain jacket, I was like, that's pretty fresh when he was repping that.
All right, Augie, quickly, we're going to transition into a little bit more fun type of interview style. We're going to do some quick fire questions. If you can't think of them, then no worries. We'll move on. But you ready for that? You good with that?
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. All right. Favorite player?
Terry Henry.
Love it. Favorite club?
Like team?
Yeah, team.
Barcelona.
Okay. Favorite thing to do outside of football?
Jet ski.
Oh, okay. I like that one.
That's a good one.
Favorite thing about Charleston?
Patriot points. I think the night Patriot point on game days.
You can't beat that. When we were there for opening weekend, it was pretty electric. Okay, this last question, you can think about it a little bit longer, but if you can't think about it, you can give the opposite. So we are called the Howlers podcast. Howler being a moment where you mess up or there's an error. Can you remember a howler of your career, something that you look back on, laugh a little bit about, or something that just kind of sits with you as a motivation, whatever it may be? If you can't think of it, then you can say, I guess, the best moment in your career, the bright spot, a positive moment.
That I messed up on?
Yeah, like could be
like a howler, own goal,
a scout penalty, an own goal. I don't know. Yeah,
one that stands out.
No, I've never scored an own goal, and I hope I never do.
Yeah, we don't want to wish that upon you. Yeah,
no, definitely not.
Yeah, I think it was last year the penalty that I missed.
Mm-hmm.
I think that sat with me for a while, just contemplating on my decision making and like kind of doubting myself at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
And I think after I missed that, it was literally on my shoulder. Like I had to practice taking penalties for like a whole week, just making sure that I can get back to like feeling confident again. Because I think that's when I can play to the best of my ability. If I have a little doubt, then there is obviously like a few things that can just like stop me and stuff like that. Even the first two games, not to kind of derail from what we're saying, I had personal issue for the first two games. Mm-hmm. So I had that on my shoulder in terms of like, you know what I mean? So I think I wasn't able to play to the best of my ability, but after that was sorted out, I think all that pressure went away from me. And that's why I think I was talking to Andrew about this as well. But I think that, just to answer your question, the penalty last year against Loudon.
Okay, yeah.
But there's been so much other stuff where I've woken up on game days and I thought it was the next day. I already missed the game already. So
that's a good one.
That's one that you can
would have been a good one.
maybe laugh about.
Yeah.
I was like, I woke up and I was like, damn, I missed the game.
Oh no.
But then I looked back, I was like, oh, I didn't miss it.
That's hilarious.
But to your point, it definitely, like you said, it sometimes it just takes one moment for things to get set right, and clearly it's working this season, which is good.
Yeah. And that's that's the value of these conversations. Like, we love seeing a little bit behind the curtain of like what's going on in your head, how these great players bounce back. Obviously, like Saka, he just missed a big penalty in the title race, but it's like the media is so aggressive getting on them on their back right away. And it's like these humanizing conversations with professionals like yourself, I think, are eye-opening for the game. And we'll keep the fun vibe going. This is going to be a continued quick fire, and all you have to do. So I'm gonna name one of your teammates, and you'll say the first thing that comes to mind. It could be a trait about them, like it could be they're funny, or it could be a part of their game, maybe like quick, fat, whatever it might be. So we've got a couple lined up for you. The first player is Trey Muse.
Very religious.
Okay. AJ Patterson.
He has different personality.
Fidel.
Very quiet and shy.
Robbie Crawford.
Very technical.
Class. I like it. And how would you describe yourself in one word?
I sort of like AJ Patterson, different personality. It just depends who I'm around. Like if the guys say they want to go out, I'm not the type to be like, okay, I don't want to go out. Let's go out. Like type of stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I always want to be like, if they want to do something, I'm part of it. But I'm very as well. I can be calm. You know what I mean? So it just depends, the kind of vibe I'm around.
Adaptable. I like that.
Yeah, very adaptable.
Yeah. Love that. Obviously, big game coming up this weekend, Augie. Louisville FC. They're second in the league. You're first. What's your mindset on that game going forward? Is it just the same as it always is, business as usual, or is there any talks amongst the dressing room or amongst yourselves of we're first, they're second? How's that feeling going into this game?
Yeah, we're not really focusing on us being first and being second. I think the main focus right now for us is just to learn their weakness, evaluate them from the last game against, I think it was San Antonio. And I think we just want to be able to make sure that we do the right things that are going to bring us success that day when we play on Saturday. But obviously we want to make a statement as well, coming into the team that you're used to last year is not the same anymore. So, and that's a statement we've been able to make so far. And obviously they're coming in to kind of say, it doesn't matter where you guys are on the table, we can beat you guys. And we want to also show them that we're not just there by accident. We're there because we deserve to be there. The mindset is the same for me, approach it day to day, you know what I mean? Saturday we get here, like Ben always say, but we have to take care of every day from now before Saturday gets here to making sure we do everything in the right way possible.
That's well said.
It's going to be an exciting game.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that game.
Oh, yeah. It's going to be an exciting game.
Yeah.
Like I said, those teams, I look forward to, you know what I mean, playing against them, big club. So I look definitely forward against playing them. I know they're going to bring, obviously, their best to give us difficult time, but we're obviously going to bring our best as well.
Yeah. I have no doubt you guys will. I'm sure.
Might see number 9 on the score sheet.
Yeah. The continued goals.
You might see me there.
Yeah.
If not, it'd be Nick, right?
It'll be someone. Yeah, that's the beauty of it. They got the dynamic attack now.
No, but Augie,
Nick gets there, then I'm like, oh, now I got to get there.
Yeah. Next game out or in that game, which even better.
Yeah, definitely.
Augie, I think that's a great way to wrap up this interview. Really appreciate you coming on, shared some great insight into yourself, into the team, and obviously some fun insight into, just your players overall and the teammates that you see every single day. But it's great having you here.
Yeah. Absolutely. Thank you guys for having me as well.
Of course.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us. Howlers Spotlight number 9.
Hope that number's right. But
Hope it's right.
Sure.
Complete. Have a good one.
Thank you.